Actually, we wanted to go to Dr. Watkins next.
Well, let me just say that, you know what, I hear Gary Chico talking about what he did when he was with the mayor, but how many know that wasn't but a few years ago? Carol Moseley Braun haven't been around for 20 years. We haven't seen her. We haven't heard from her. All the violence running rampant in our streets. I did not even know the woman lived in the city of Chicago because I have not heard her voice out there on the street. So let me just start by saying we need people who are here with us to become mayor. We do not need people who have been missing in action and lost somewhere for the last 20 years to wake up one day and decide they want to be mayor of the city of Chicago. I'm sick and tired of people taking advantage of us. I'm tired of people taking advantage of us. I've been working in these streets for years to improve the lives of Chicago families because I believe in you. When I see you, I see me. When I see your sons, I see my son. Your daughters, I see my daughters. It's time for us to open our eyes and figure out what's going on around here. Now, so first of all, the number one thing I would do is do a forensic audit to find all the stealing and thievery that's going on in this government. We need to defeat the corruption tax. They have charged us so much. And according to Dick Simpson's report, Chicago and Illinois spends about $500 million a year just on corruption. We need to defeat that first before we start looking at nonprofits losing their water exemption, nonprofits losing their tax exemption. We need to look at that first. And if Carol Moseley Braun had been out here with us, she would understand that.
Okay, could we have some order in the room now? Keep in mind, this is God's place.
That's why the truth is so important. That's why we need the truth.
We're going to hear from William Walls, and then we're going to hear a response to that. Those remarks by Ambassador Braun. So go ahead and
it's
first.
Getting hot in here.
Yes, we know, but the question is about the budget.
We have what's called a structural deficit here in the city of Chicago, and a structural deficit is an ongoing shortfall between the revenue generated by the taxing body and the inflationary cost of continuing the same level of public service from one year to the next, without expanding or adding new programs or services. But here in the city of Chicago, we've tried to be all things to all people, and we've had sacred cows. We've asked the city of Chicago employees to take 24 furlough days, and that amounts to a backhanded pay cuts, and that's a small savings. We've asked the administration to take pay cuts, but we've never said to the big government contractors, the Kennys, the McHughes, the Walshes, the K5s, the people who make hundreds of millions of dollars a year, even billions of dollars on the public's expense. We've never said to them, limit your profit margin. So I will reduce their profit margins from 30% down to 10%. So that, for example, on that Wacker Drive project, that $300 million project, at the end of 2 years, that company stands to gain $90 million. We'll cut that back to $30 million. That alone will save the city of Chicago $400 million. That's a big stroke towards getting us back on track. Additionally, we'll delay all non-essential construction and repair projects. We'll stop the beautification projects. What we ultimately have to do in the city of Chicago is transition from a debt-to-fund services revenue and expenditure system into a pay-as-you-go revenue and expenditure system. And we can do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Ambassador Braun, I think that you have some things you wanted to say in response to an earlier remark.
Well, I just want to tell the truth. Patricia, the reason you didn't know where I was for the last 20 years, because you were strung out on crack. Now, you have admitted to that. You also were in a cult. You have admitted to that. So let me tell you something, what I was doing the last 20 years. I was starting a business on the South Side. I was hiring people. I started a business from scratch. I was not strung out on crack. I don't have a record. I, in fact, have spent the years of my life working and fighting for this community as the only black United States Senator from 1992 to 1998, as the only ambassador. So I don't want to hear it from you, sweetie.
Okay. Look, this is
Okay,
not,
now we got
this
to
is
have a
not going
rebuttal,
to be a back
and this
forth.
is going to be really simple and plain. Very
Dr.
simple.
Watkins, Dr.
This is going to be very simple.
You had your-
Now, she just said I
first
was
of the
strung out on
audience-
crack
I think if the
for 20
audience
years.
could be seated, that would help immensely. Dr. Watkins, it's not your turn now. I mean, I think you have to sit down.
Wait, she said I was strung out on crack for 20 years.
Dr. Watkins,
That's not true.
I think you've got to sit down now. I think that's...
Now, somebody's going to assassinate my character.
Wait a minute.
I need to be able to
Watkins.
respond. Let me respond, Charles.
Dr. Watkins, you're going to have to sit down.
Okay.
We're going to move along.